Hey, Mama, and welcome back to For Moms, a Safe Space. I'm your host, Simone, and as always, I'm so glad that you're here. Last week, we heard a powerful story from a listener who shared what it was like to co parent with someone who had abused her during her pregnancy. She talked about the trauma and the fear, and ultimately how she made the decision to leave in the middle of the night with her baby just to survive. It wasn't an environment she wanted her daughter to grow up in. But even after getting out, the emotional and legal battles, it didn't stop for her. Her abuser made her life hell, using every opportunity to control and manipulate through the court system. Her story hit home for so many of you guys. And, after the episode aired, I had a few moms that reached out for more. They wanted more guidance on navigating court orders and more around child support issues and more help figuring out how to keep their kids safe when it feels like the system isn't protecting them. Now, this episode wasn't originally planned for today, but your messages made it clear that we needed to talk more about this. So in part 2, we're diving deeper into the legal side of things. We're talking about child support, court orders, and when it doesn't feel fair or safe, and the tough choices moms have to make to protect their children. This space is for the moms doing everything they can, even when it feels like no one's listening. You're not alone. And your safety and your child's safety, it matters here. So let's continue this conversation. When do you involve the courts? If you're co-parenting with an abusive ex, involving the legal system can feel like you are about to step into a war zone. You're about to go into the biggest battle of your life. And this battle may be the only way to reclaim your peace. This battle can help you to set firm and enforceable boundaries. And no, this isn't about revenge. It's not about being bitter. It's not about being upset. It's about protection for you and for your child. Then when we think about custody, it can be overwhelming. It could be a very overwhelming thought to take someone to court for custody over a child that you share. Because you don't go into having a child thinking that you and this person are not going to be together, or you and this person are not going to be a team and co-parent together. You go into it with the notion that you guys will be working together to raise this child. So when you think about having to go to court for custody and have the courts decide how you two should raise your child, that's overwhelming. It's overwhelming. There are two main forms of custody to know. You have legal custody, and this refers to who has the right to make all major decisions for the child. So that includes medical care, education, and religion, etc., etc. And then you have physical custody. And this refers to where the child lives day to day. But then you could take it a step further. And you can add sole, meaning one parent, or joint, meaning you two together. When you're in a situation where abuse has occurred, seeking sole legal and or physical custody may be the safest option. And if your ex, if they have a history of violence or manipulation or instability, then you may want to request sole legal custody. You may want to request supervised physical custody. And in some extreme cases, termination of parental rights may be the best decision for you. However, that is a little bit harder to obtain, and you have to show significant evidence of harm or danger. So when you decide, I'm going to go to the courts, I'm going to file for custody, and you start thinking about what you want in your custody arrangements, it's important to think about the dynamics of you guys' relationship. Are you comfortable with your child or children being with their other parent unsupervised? If you answered no, then you want to request supervised visitations. Did your child endure abuse at the hands of their other parent, or were they present for the abuse that you endured at the hands of the other parent? If you answer yes to that, then you may want to consider having therapeutic visitations, which is where the parent and the child or children meet in a clinical setting with a therapist present. Are you comfortable with your child or children having overnight visits? Maybe your child is very young, or maybe your child has expressed fear or discomfort. And if that's the case, then you want to make that a stipulation in your custody arrangement: no overnight visits. Are you comfortable picking up and dropping off at the other parent's house or vice versa? And if you answered no to that, then you want to request neutral drop-off and pickup locations. You may also want to request that a third party be responsible for handling that. And then when you think about the type of abuse you may have endured, you may want to limit communication as much as possible. In the new age, we block people. You go right on your phone, you go to a contact, block, and it's a beautiful thing. And then you never have to talk to that person again unless you decide to unblock them. Yeah, they may call you from another number. You can block that number too. They may reach out on social media via email. You can block all that too. But the courts provide parents with an app that allows them to message back and forth. All the messages are time-stamped and nothing can be edited. When you are coming up with your custody order, it is very important that it is written clearly, because vague language leaves too much room for manipulation. And that's not something you want, especially if you have suffered from manipulation at the hands of this person. A lot of moms hesitate to go to court. That's because they have fear of backlash or retaliation, because they've been gaslit into thinking they are making things worse. But here's the truth. When abuse is part of your parenting dynamic, silence only serves the abuser. So don't let fear silence you. If you're already in the midst of dealing with manipulation and unsafe exchanges or fear every time you leave your child with this person, it's okay to bring in the legal system to create a framework that helps to protect you both. Now, I know when you think about courts and you think about having to take someone to court, one of the biggest things is an attorney. So you may contact a family law attorney. You may use legal aid services in your area. Or you may just have to represent yourself. And that's the reality for a lot of moms because they don't have the resources needed to hire an attorney to get the best that they can get. So they have to represent themselves. And that's okay. Don't let the thought of having to speak up for yourself scare you. Don't let it stop you from doing what you know is right for you, your child, or your children. Be your advocate. Know that if you do need help, there are services out here that can help you. You can reach out to domestic violence advocates. They will come to court with you. They will help you prepare documents. There are clinics that specialize in helping those who need to self-represent in court. They'll help you. They'll guide you. But understand that you deserve safety and your child deserves stability. And if the court can be a tool to help create that foundation, it is okay to use it. Now, I know thinking about courts and custody and documentation, it can feel overwhelming. It can feel like your head is about to explode because it's so much and it's such a big thing that you're about to embark on. But you are a real person. Your child is a real person. And that long trail of pain and survival is worth it. I had a listener write me, and I'm going to share their story. And this listener wrote me about something they experienced in their childhood with their parents. And I thought it was important to put it into this episode because, we're talking about being moms and having to file custody. But this story discusses it from a child's perspective. It's what too many of us grew up seeing or still are living through now. And here's what they wrote. My mom and dad used to fight, and my brother once told his teacher. DHS came to the house to make sure we weren't being abused. We watched our dad get arrested once. My mom tried to sneak us out of school, and my dad had to contact the school to stop her from picking us up. This all happened while we were still in the elementary school. My grandmom used to record us asking what we did at our mom's house. Both of them were wrong in different ways. And I want to stop right there. Because she said both of them are wrong in different ways. From a child's perspective, you don't know who's wrong when your parents are going through their fights and arguments and abuse and everything like that. You don't really know who's wrong because you love both of your parents. But you see, as you get older, you start to realize the things that you were seeing, they're not normal. She says, but my dad was abusive. I remember once he threw a remote at my mom's face. She had this huge knot on her eye. That's the time he got arrested. I didn't really realize something was wrong until her next husband hit her too. And then the next one, and then the one after that. I'm not saying those men weren't guilty. Abuse is abuse, and an abuser is an abuser. But I've also learned that women can be abusive too and still try to hide their hand. My dad once wrote me a letter apologizing for the trauma we experienced as kids. He said that my mom and him would have these explosive fights that sometimes ended in what he called makeup sex. I was older when he told me that, but I didn't know how to process it. He's not here now to share his version of the story anymore. She tries to tell me her side now, and I listen, but it's hard. It doesn't feel fair because he's not here to tell his truth. It really messes with my mind because I don't want to excuse what he did, but I love my dad. And see, that's a conflict that a lot of kids may have. They see the abuse that their mother is enduring or the abuse that the mother and father are putting on each other, but they're conflicted because they love both of their parents. I know some of you guys are probably sitting here with similar memories from your childhood, conflicted ones where love and harm, it lived in the same house. That's the thing about abuse in families. It's never clean, never easy to understand. But just because it's complicated doesn't mean you don't get to find clarity for yourself. Think about the story that I just read to you guys. And think about how this still affects this person who is now an adult with a child of her own. And think about doing what's best for your kids. So I want to shift a little bit. And I want to get into something that's a real stickler. Child support. When you're still in the thick of co-parenting with an abuser or navigating the long-term emotional aftermath, like the story we just heard, peace is not something that just arrives. It's something we build, one boundary, one decision, one protective step at a time. So let's talk about how child support fits into that. It's necessary, but it's also triggering, especially when you're dealing with an abusive ex. But child support is not a favor, and it's not something you should feel guilty for seeking. It's not about being petty or money hungry or trying to control the other parent. It is a legal and moral responsibility to ensure that your child's needs are being met by both parents. Now, make no mistake, there are some people out here that seek child support not in the best interest of the child because they are upset, they are bitter, they are money hungry. But if you are in a real situation where your other parent is not helping you out, seek it. Go for it. Let them be mad. Let them be upset. When abuse has been a part of a relationship, money can become another tool of manipulation. So if you don't go through the courts with this and you're just asking for money here and there, it can be used against you. The money can be used as a way to control you again. And it's also a way for that person to stay connected to you when you just want peace. It's very important in situations where abuse has occurred for you to go through the legal system for child support. The payments, they go through the state, so you don't have to have any direct contact. There's a paper trail. Every payment or mispayment, it's documented. If you ever have to go back to court, they can't say, oh, I've been paying you. Oh, you owe me money. Because the records, they'll speak for themselves. And finally, the biggest one, there is no room for manipulation. Because everything is documented and formal. And it's much harder for the other parent to play games or use the money as a way to gain access to you again. Here's what I want you to hold on to. Asking for child support doesn't make you difficult. It makes you responsible. You're not causing more drama You're ensuring your child has what they need. And you are not weak for using the system. You're strong for doing what it takes to protect your peace. And let me tell you this. If someone tries to guilt you or shame you for filing, remember this. They don't have to live your life. They don't have to budget groceries, childcare, clothes, or school supplies. They don't know the full story, and you do. Because at the end of the day, your child deserves stability without strings attached. Now let's talk about your child. Because this is why we're here, right? It's all about the child. So how do you protect your child throughout this situation? It's possibly the hardest part, because the person who hurt you is now around your child, or maybe they hurt your child too. So you can feel this like constant state of anxiety. And it's like, what do I do? Am I making the right decisions doing this? How does my child feel about this? Well, first things first. If there has been any type of abuse towards your child, you are your child's advocate. So that means you need to document, take pictures, statements, doctor's reports, keep a timeline. And even if you feel like nothing's happening right away, that's okay, because you're building a case for when you need it. Secondly, and I am a big advocate for this, seek therapy. Go see a family therapist. Even if your child is young, that's okay. Because the therapist is going to give you insight, and they will help to build another layer of support. And if ever you need to take legal action, you have this therapist on your side. You are not being overprotective. You are being a present, aware parent. If your child comes home and seems fearful, withdrawn, or shares something that makes you uncomfortable, listen, follow up, take it seriously. I am so tuned in to my oldest son that the minute he walks through the door from school, I know either he had a good day, an okay day, or a bad day. I know my son. And I talk to my son. I don't just shun him away. He comes home from school, talk to me. How was school? What happened? What did you do? You have to be that parent that is actively involved in your child's life, and you are in tune with them, and you know how to pick up on behavioral changes. It's very important. It's very important. The biggest thing now is talking to your child about what's happening, but in age-appropriate ways. And this doesn't mean putting adult worries on their shoulders. It means helping them to understand the schedule, the visits, and reminding them that their feelings are valid. If your child expresses fear, discomfort, or confusion about seeing their other parent, listen. Listen. Create a space for honesty without pressure. Let them know that no matter what, you are there, you believe them, and you will do what it takes to keep them safe. Now, I'm not saying as soon as your child walks through the door, what did you do at your dad's house? What did your dad do? What's going on over there? No. Allow your child to come to you. Create a space, create an atmosphere where they feel that they can come and talk to you freely, and that you're going to listen to them and not shun them away and not stop them from talking or overtalk them. And you don't have to have all of the answers. You just have to keep taking steps. And every step you take in truth and love, It matters. It matters. Many moms stay silent because they're afraid. Afraid of retaliation, afraid they won't be believed, afraid it will get worse. But you don't have to suffer in silence. You can reach out for help. You can take slow steps. You can protect your child without destroying yourself in the process. Your fear is valid, but you are not powerless. You are allowed to be afraid and still take action. Courage doesn't mean you aren't scared. It means you keep choosing truth and safety anyway. So, Mama, if today's episode brought up a lot for you, I know it did for me, I just want to say, take a breath. You are not alone in this. Whether you're already in the legal system or just starting to think about what steps you want to take, you are doing incredibly brave work. You are protecting your peace. You are protecting your child. You are building a life where safety, stability, and love are the foundation, not fear. If you'd like to share your story with me, reach out to me. You can email me at ForMomsASafeSpace@gmail.com. You can DM me on Instagram at ForMomsASafeSpace. I would love to hear from you guys. Would love to hold that space for you. Because this is not just a podcast. It's a community. And you belong here. So take care of yourself. Keep choosing peace. Keep choosing truth. And you are not alone.